I'm happy to be reading the second book of the Obadiah series. This one is Thy Friend Obadiah, and it is also written by Brenton Turkle. And he won the coveted Caldecott Award for his illustrations in this book. I want to share with you something the author said about his book series. He says, "As my readers leave childhood behind, I hope that they will carry with them an appreciation for such alternatives as integrity, mutual respect, kindness, and reverence for life. These alternatives are in my books, and I pray that exposure to them will play a part in the construction of a better tomorrow." I hope you enjoy Thy Friend Obadiah. Thy Friend Obadiah by Brenton Turkle. Wherever Obadiah went, a seagull was following him. It followed him all the way to the candlemaker's, and it was waiting for him when he came out of the shop. When he was sent to the wharf for a fresh codfish, it hopped along behind him. And at night, when he went to bed, he could see it from his window. There it was, perched on the chimney of the shed, facing into the wind. Of all the seagulls on Nantucket Island, why did this one go everywhere Obadiah went? On first day, everyone dressed up warmly and went to meeting. The Starbuck family formed a little parade. First father and mother, then Moses and Asa, and Rebecca and Obadiah and Rachel. Behind them came the seagull, hopping along as if it were going to meeting too. "Go away," said Obadiah. The bird fluttered off, but it soon came back. "Thee has a friend, Obadiah," said father, as he turned in at Meeting House gate. "Obadiah has a friend," said Moses. "Obadiah has a friend," said Rebecca. "Ask thy friend to come into meeting," said Asa. Rachel didn't tease. She tried to take Obadiah's hand, but he didn't want to hold anybody's hand. He picked up a pebble and threw it at the bird. He missed. The seagull flew out of sight, but when meeting was over, there it was, waiting for him. It got so that Obadiah didn't want to go out of his house. At breakfast, father said, "Obadiah, how is thy friend?" "What friend?" asked Obadiah, his mouth full of muffin and plum jam. "Thy very own seagull," said Asa. Rebecca giggled. "That bird is not my friend," Obadiah shouted. Mother raised a finger. "Don't distress thyself, Obadiah," she said. "I think it is very nice that one of God's creatures favors thee." "Well, I don't like it," said Obadiah. "Seagulls don't follow anyone else around." Soon after breakfast, it began to snow. In the afternoon, Mother wrapped a woolen scarf around Obadiah and sent him to Jacob Slade's mill with some money and a sack for flour. The bird was nowhere to be seen. "Maybe it doesn't like the snow," Obadiah told himself. Maybe it flew away to the mainland. He was so glad it wasn't hopping along after him that he made duck tracks all the way up Jacob Slade's hill. The miller filled the flour sack, and Obadiah gave him the money Mother had tucked in his mitten. "Keep this, lad," Jacob Slade said, giving him a penny, "and don't let it burn a hole in thy pocket." On the way home, Obadiah tried to slide on a patch of ice, but he skidded and fell head over heels. His hat went flying. Snow got in his ears and in his boots. His breeches got wet, and so did the sack of flour. His knee hurt, and the penny was gone forever in the snowbank. He was all alone on the hill. Shivering and sniffling, he picked himself up and limped home. Seagulls were perched on almost every housetop on Orange Street, but he couldn't find the special seagull that had been following him. The birds were faced into the raw east wind and paid no attention to him at all. Mother was very cross about the wet flour. She gave Obadiah a hot bath and dry clothes, and right after supper she made him drink something hot that tasted awful. "Is thy knee still hurting thee?" she asked. "It's better." Obadiah wished he felt better about the lost penny. "Then get into bed." Obadiah said his prayers, and as soon as Mother was gone, he got out of bed and tiptoed to the window. The seagull was not there. He got back into bed again and wondered what had happened. The next day, and the next day, and the day after that, no bird followed Obadiah when he left his house. Every night he looked out of his window, but the seagull didn't come back. Then he saw it down at the wharf. It was with some other gulls where a little fishing boat was docked, but something was wrong. A large, rusty fish hook dangled from its beak. "That's what happens when thee steals from a fishing line. Serves thee right," Obadiah said, and walked away. He was on the cobblestone street by the blacksmith's shop when he discovered that the seagull was hopping along behind him. Obadiah stopped. The bird stopped. The fishhook bobbled in the wind. "If thee is quiet, I'll try to get that off thy beak." The seagull didn't move. "I won't hurt thee," Obadiah said. The bird allowed him to come nearer and nearer. In a moment, the fishhook was in Obadiah's hand, and the seagull was wheeling into the sky, making little mewing sounds. It flew out toward the lighthouse. Obadiah watched until he couldn't see it any longer. Then he threw the rusty hook away and went home. As soon as he opened the front door, Obadiah smelled bread baking. In the kitchen, Mother and Rachel were just taking it out of the oven. Mother cut him a slice of the fresh, warm bread and spread it with butter. He sat on a stool to eat it between mouthfuls. He told them what had happened. "Well," said Rachel, "thee won't see that silly old bird again." "No," Obadiah said, "I expect I won't." At bedtime, after she had tucked him in, Mother went to the window. "Obadiah," she said, "look here." He tumbled out of bed. "Isn't that thy seagull?" There it was on the chimney, facing into the wind in the clear blue night. "That's him," said Obadiah. "He looks cold out there, Mother." "His feathers keep him warm, but thee doesn't have feathers. Obadiah, get back into bed quickly before thee takes a chill." Obadiah jumped into bed again, and Mother kissed him good night. The wind whistled around the corner of the house, and Obadiah snuggled down into the quilts. "Mother?" "Yes, Obadiah." "That seagull is my friend." "I'm glad, Obadiah. Good night." "And Mother?" Mother turned at the door. Her candle flickered and almost went out. "Yes, Obadiah," she said. "Since I helped him, I'm his friend, too."